If you're thinking about leaving Minnesota and moving to Greenville, South Carolina, slow down because there's something you need to know before packing those bags. Yes, the winters are warmer, the mountains are nearby, the cost of living is great, but that's all stuff you can figure out from a Google search. But what you can't Google is what it actually feels like to move 1,000 miles away and start over in a completely different culture. So instead of just giving you my opinion, I wanted you to hear from people who have actually done it. Today I'm sitting down with a family who moved from Minnesota to Greenville, and we're talking about why they left, why they chose Greenville, and what surprised them the most when they got here. So of course we're going over pros and cons, but most importantly, we're going over what they would do differently if they could do it all over again. I'm Renaldo the Realtor. Let's get into it.
Housing, so you're able to get much more bang for your buck here. Taking this house we have and plopping it in Minnesota, almost 100 to 200,000 more.
Wow.
Easily. I was talking to some developers and stuff like that and learning that is the frost line. Because in Minnesota, you have to go deeper. So you have to spend more money to go deep. Over here, you don't have to. And so you get the things like a nice granite countertop, all these nicer little add-ons, more bathrooms. That was the one thing that the standard, the amount of bathrooms per house was kind of flooring to me because it was a lot.
And if you're moving from up north coming down here, basements, which you kind of mentioned with the frost line, basements aren't as big here.
Yep,
and that was a shock to us because every house you go up to up north has a basement.
Here it's definitely less than 10% have a basement.
Termites. That was the one thing here. I mean, I haven't had any termite issues, but just knowing that was a thing here. I had no idea, didn't have to worry about it in the north. I was like, what are all these little green circle discs in my yard now?
Those are the termite bait boxes. They come in, they eat them, they take them back to the homies, and everybody has their last meal.
Yards in Minnesota are normally bigger than they are here. When we were looking at houses with you, that was one of the things that I know surprised me at least, was like, oh, these are really small yards. I think like this was one of the larger ones and it was at a slope, which felt weird. So.
And I actually prefer the smaller yard because A, it's less to maintain, but everything kind of then is brought closer together. So I'm not spending as much money on gas too, so that's a bonus. But then also I do like of the neighborhoods here, like almost everyone has a pool. All the communities have a pool or you have access to a pool and stuff like that. So
some of our neighborhoods have two.
I know,
People still put one in their backyard.
I know.
Just moving here on property taxes, I saved almost $5,000. So I got a bigger house and saved $5,000 a year just for moving here. And our utilities, I feel, are just way cheaper. Electricity, gas, all that stuff. When we first got from Minnesota to here and I filled up, gas was 50 cents cheaper.
Ooh, that's good. Have you checked recently?
No. We did make a trip back a few weeks ago and it was still more expensive in Minnesota than here. One thing I noticed, tipping here. The default is higher here than it was in Minnesota. So tipping is a bigger thing here versus Minnesota. So here you tip more, but you want to tip more because your cost of living and everything else is so much cheaper.
What's been your experience with the weather? Because you've seen a full year now.
In Minnesota, we had 8 months of winter and 3 months of Canadian wildfires. So that was, you don't get to go outside in Minnesota. Like you just don't. One thing that did surprise me, I was doing yard work March 1st. That was insane.
I get my first flowers in February. Like at the end of February, my first flowers are coming out.
I'm amazed by the flowers because there's such variety that when one's done blooming, another set is blooming. So that's great. Weather from central Minnesota to the upstate, it's almost the exact same.
During summer.
Winters. I was gonna say the big difference is it's, what is it, 50, 60 degrees during winter, you know, get a little cold at night. But like people are like, oh, the humidity. And we're like, what humidity? Because it's 10,000 lakes, that's just what it is in Minnesota. So humidity for us is like the same. I will take July and August here over the 8 months of winter any day. And right now, today, I was talking to a friend back in Minnesota. It's 80 degrees here and it is end of July and it is 79 degrees there.
When we were going back recently, one thing we also noticed is that although the temperatures are really the same, you get like a cold breeze up north in Minnesota. So if it's 60 degrees in both places, Minnesota feels a lot colder at 60 than it does here.
I love the storms here too. It's like just that quick dump and then it just kind of moves on. We love that heavy rain. Minnesota, it was just kind of like, it can be kind of an all-day gloomy thing.
Yeah. Yes.
One thing that I miss from Minnesota is our fall. It's only 2 weeks, sometimes one. It's sad.
Yeah.
But when it does happen, it's a very nice, cool weather, and all the trees are beautiful. And you don't get as nice of a fall here in Greenville, I think. So that was something that I missed. I didn't feel like I got as vibrant of colors here. Then again, the trade-off, I actually got kind of like a fall here.
Yeah.
Here was just a week or two where it was absolutely beautiful. And then
seems like the trees give it their all, like a sprint.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And then they're out of gas.
Exactly.
Well, and this is our first time actually experiencing spring too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because spring is the day before
Summer.
yeah, summer, because the snow's melting, and then it's summer, you know, so it's really like one day.
Yeah.
So we finally able to experience what a spring is really like.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun. We do have more allergies, a lot more actually. Yeah, it's a little more constant on taking some of the allergy meds or the nasal stuff.
Anybody had to go to hospital yet?
I had kidney cancer. And so changing, it wasn't too bad. A little different from Minnesota, but if anybody's familiar with the centric care of Minnesota, it's almost the same here of Prisma Health. It's almost a clone, so it's easy to navigate and transition, but we also have, there's so many more other options because one of my daughters has a lot of other medical needs, and we're finding a lot better care here than we were in Minnesota, because also we would have to drive almost every week an hour to go to the Twin Cities area to get the certain care we need. We're here, it's 10, 15 minutes at the most. In the medical facility here, we actually get an advocate that really helps us through all of her processes. Compared to Minnesota, we didn't get an advocate, like as a nurse of some sort, where she gets to really track everything, and that was absent from Minnesota. So it's been a lot easier for my wife on the medical side of things. That was a nice surprise, and also just the location of everything. Great.
Your realtor got you a nice one.
Yes.
We had a pretty amazing realtor.
Yeah, that guy, I tell you.
Humble.
One day I'll learn how to spell that.
Yeah.
Tell me something that surprised you.
No bugs. For us, because coming from Minnesota, where there's so many bugs, tons of mosquitoes. I still can barely notice any bugs.
Wow.
But way less, but they're a little bit bigger.
Oh yeah.
And they hurt a little.
Yeah.
But like, it's way less. We can enjoy the outdoors a lot more.
Yeah, I guess it does depend on where you come from, because a lot of people think bugs here are just the worst.
Oh, yeah.
So
For me, it was the roads, because there's no shoulders, and every road in Minnesota has a shoulder of some sort.
Yeah.
And the speed limits on back roads are much faster. So 45 on a road with no shoulder is unheard of in Minnesota. So that was crazy.
And not just no shoulder, there's like a tree 2 inches from that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So a lot of people move with kids and they want to know what the school systems are like. But y'all were a little bit different, huh?
Yes.
So tell me about schooling here for you.
Well, in Minnesota, we homeschool, and here we homeschool, which has actually been really nice because it is a lot more of a larger homeschooling base than Minnesota was. So that was nice. We were able to get plugged into the communities that we needed to, and also be a part of the public schools athletics, like the swim team and stuff like that. Was, for the most part, pretty simple to navigate.
It was a lot easier to get into.
Which is great, because you got a master swimmer here. How difficult do you think it is for somebody who's never homeschooled to come here and start homeschooling?
I think it actually be pretty darn easy, just because the sheer number of homeschoolers here that are more than willing to be any type of resource.
The only big thing that was different is you can't partial enroll in high schools here.
For people of your age, what sort of things are there to do around here, and how does that compare to Minnesota?
Well, there's not really much in Minnesota. It's kind of cold all the time.
Yeah.
And down here, there's a lot more activities to do outside.
So you spend a lot more time actually in the sunshine.
Yes.
And that's the parks is a big thing down here. Every park facility is really nice. And in Minnesota, you don't have as many parks, and especially the area that we came from, they were all run down if you did have them.
I love anything outdoors, any other sport. I love fishing.
Airsoft is one thing we try to do a lot.
Tell me about making new friends.
Well, it was really easy for me because of the swim team. And there's a lot of summer swim programs, so it was easy to make friends. Actually, my friend's here to pick me up right now, so I gotta go.
For Minnesota, it's like, you always had this thing where you can't let your kids go out. You know, you didn't feel as safe. We're here, we're not fully there yet, but we're starting to, but we can tell everybody that's just like, oh yeah, the kids are fine.
Yeah.
They play, and everybody has this more just safety feel to it, and almost going back to when I was a kid, where it's like, yeah, you can run around the neighborhood, and it's fine. So there's a lot more of that level of safety here.
You just got to make the mental shift as a parent.
Yes.
To say
Yeah. And I mean, as a young adult going around, it definitely feels safer. Late at night, like going out with friends in the area, like downtown in Minnesota, I didn't necessarily ever feel that danger, but I was definitely felt like something was off. Like it didn't feel as safe as going anywhere down here. I wouldn't expect crazy stuff to happen normally.
The homeless people, I feel, are a little more respectful here. They just they do their own thing. A lot more homeless in Minnesota than here, from what we noticed.
In Minnesota, you'll have a lot of people come up to you, like in a parking lot. We'll try to get money, be like, hey, my car broke down or something.
Yes.
And I've had that happen to me like once while I was here, so I have seen it, but it happens like all the time in Minnesota. Stuff like that isn't really that bad here.
The traffic and the drivers here. That's the number one con people have about Greenville. What's your take on it?
I do get frustrated with the traffic, but people are much nicer here in the traffic, which is a great thing, but also sometimes get a little annoying. But then when we went back to Minnesota, I really noticed the difference on how, they were kind of jerks, everybody's just a little more rude on the road. Here, it's a lot nicer. Accidents-wise, I almost feel like it's the same. Yes, there is the growing pains here that we've discovered that it is. It's like, oh, this is 2 miles away, and somehow it took us 20 minutes this time to get there, But again, from everything that was in Minnesota, it's so much more spread out. So you're still driving the same amount of time to get somewhere in Minnesota to somewhere here. But also as the homeschooling and self-employed home office.
Yeah.
I really get to avoid all the traffic.
So my worst experience with traffic here was
as driving.
Yeah, arguments can be made.
Who taught him?
His mom. So besides my driving, the worst scenario that I've had was I got stuck on traffic on 14 during rush hour. A drive that takes normally somewhere between 20 to 30 minutes ended up taking an hour.
Ooh.
But then again, it was just sitting there. So time-wise, it sucked, but it wasn't like stressful driving.
Right.
If you know when rush hour is, you can normally avoid it.
I do still constantly put in actually Google Maps for when I'm going places, even though I know where everything is, just so it'll tell me the fastest route.
Yes.
So that is, it is kind of a constant that I just got in the habit too. Yep. Home Depot, I'm still putting it in.
Yep.
Oh, looks like I'm gonna go to the Simpsonville one today, so.
Food, let's talk about the difference between
Yeah.
the food there and the food you find here.
It is a foodie town, especially we are foodie people too. We've been thoroughly enjoyed all the different food places that we've been able to find here, especially, again, there was not much there from Minnesota where we lived. It's like you had your few places and everything was fast food. Where here you just have so much more options, especially for the dietary needs. My wife was actually able to find a great gluten-free crust place that was actually handmade. And I think I told her the other day, I think we'd probably be about 100 by the time we were able to tackle all the different food places here. So
honestly, you really will. We're still trying new places, 6 years later.
And it's not all the same. Like there's so many niche food places here too, which was really cool to see. Like you would still have something new to try every time.
like sushi burger.
That's what I was gonna mention.
I discovered I really like mussels. I never had them before.
You still don't.
Yeah.
But you get a lot of mussels and oysters here.
Yes,
there's
tons. Yes, I love the steamed mussels. There's one place, and we had this one great little Indian restaurant where we were from, which is pretty hard to beat. But we've found some really good close ones, but they're just, I don't know. There was that one little one. So
it's better than saffron.
Yes, it is better than saffron.
Any experiences with the events here?
There's way more.
Yeah.
I was kind of excited when I drove by. I was like, oh, that's WWE? That's kind of fun. The zoo, we were like the zoo here. Downtown Greenville, I always feel like that every weekend there's something going on, which is nice. Art events we've gone to, and another big food thing we went to there. And
Downtown Greenville's events are really fun.
yeah.
Give me your ranking of the 3 best downtowns in the upstate.
Downtown Greenville, I'd put at the top because there's a lot there. It's just a beautiful walk too. I mean, going through the bridge, just beautiful. Enjoy all the food there. Next would be Greer. It's cute, it's quaint, and plus they have a board game store down there.
Oh, yeah.
And then Simpsonville downtown, just because it's our favorite pizza places there, and well, we're pretty close to it. So
I mean, I would rank them the same. I haven't really gone to many other downtowns outside of those 3. The other reason that I would put Simpsonville below Greer is that even though Simpsonville downtown definitely feels larger than Greer, it almost feels like there's less to do there at times, and it doesn't have the same atmosphere as downtown Greer.
You got the train tracks, and then you got roads going all different ways.
Yeah, and like each individual section is pretty cool, but it doesn't feel like one coherent place.
Yeah. Tell me about regrets. We need to know. What do you regret about your move, about your house, your city?
I think the biggest regret I have is that I didn't do it sooner. I think that's because it's like every day, my wife we'll walk around the neighborhood almost every day. We go for a walk, and we're just like, we love it here. You know, there's so much more life. The birds are chirping, and everything's green. It lives up to the name Greenville. That would I say would be our biggest regret.
I've been talking to my mom about this recently. We were like, do we have any regrets really? And neither of us were fond of the state of Minnesota itself, and we're so much happier to be here. I mean, it's just more joyous to step outside, which is one of the big things. It could make any other small problem I have worth it.
Yeah, you mentioned the birds, and I didn't realize it, but in Texas, West Texas where I was, there's no birds.
I've been telling a lot of the people that I still know from Minnesota that they need to get out of there and start moving. Like, it's so much better business-wise, especially for a small business owner. I saw within the first 4 months a 10% increase in my business.
That's great.
And so just some of these other business people I know, it's like, you will be so much more successful here, because there's also a lot of places where, coming from Minnesota, they would just never survive. And I still even question how they survive here, because it is some of the craziest little shops I've ever seen. But they're rocking it, so.
I would say one thing to think about is, I guess, culture. So if you're coming from like a northern state, it's a different culture, especially being in the Bible Belt. I prefer the culture here.
Yeah.
But that might be something that somebody out of state isn't thinking about, that moving, although there's all of like the physical benefits, culture is a thing that you will have to get used to.
Is South Carolina racist? Up there, people would ask if you go to church, whereas down here, people ask what church you go to. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you have any questions on the area at all, make sure I'm your first call. For everybody else, just like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.